So typically a good way to start out a pitch is make the investor hurt. And what I say by that is make them feel the pain. So right now you started out with your with the problem being your problem in this pitch is you started with like a really powerful personal story. And then you said, wouldn't it be great if we could give people all these great affirmations? Like this
Okay.
slide and then the next slide around problem, we're mostly like, we want to make people feel better. But that's not a problem that hurts. That's not
Okay.
a problem that like makes me go, I need to take action. So I would
Okay.
probably flip this to be a lot more kind of aggressively, I want to say the word dark, but that's not right. But like you could talk about like mental health is not doing well. Like people need help. People want to like friends and family want to help, but they do not know how. Like something like that. And then in my deck, there's a term that I can't take credit for called twisting the knife. So the idea is you lay out the problem for the investor, right? You stick the knife in, you make them feel, and then you twist it, you make them feel it even more. And that's where usually you want to throw in some kind of economic impact, like, you know,
On this slide?
in the problem section, right? So don't worry about like, so it could be the problem slide. You probably only need one slide here.
Okay.
Maybe you have two, but like I think you want to highlight the kind of, you want to get people going, oh no, this is a problem. And oh no, this is a problem isn't, hey, I want to buy someone a gift and I'm not quite sure what it is. Like that's not an
Right.
investable problem. It's a problem, but it's not like an investable one. It's not one that people say, damn it, I need to fix this.
Okay.
So you probably need to hammer more on the like either like the hole in the market or just simply the fact that mental health is becoming a more prominent part of the culture, but there's a lack of gifts and products that support mental health, something along those lines. There's a hole in the market there. Like saying we're uncertain how to show we care, like isn't enough. It's not going to grip, right? Um, and so it's worth thinking about trying to make that problem statement much sharper and harsher so that it really feels like we need to put money behind this problem.
Okay. What would you consider harsh? Like, what if it was your daughter? What if it was your mom? What would you want to do to help support them? Like that kind of harsh?
I mean, that might be, oh yeah, that might be a great question to ask. Like, and maybe even say more like, if there's a statistic about kind of like how many Americans suffer from mental health problems, you could say like, 25% of Americans suffer from mental health problems. That
30%.
Yeah, so that means one out of every three people in this room is hurting, or chances are, think of the person in your life who's struggling with mental health or self-confidence issues, right? You can ask them that exact question to the audience. I want you to think about that person for a second. Think about what they might be going through, and think about the times you've tried to help. Blah blah blah. And then what if I told you that we spend $1 billion a year on products and none of them are useful? Something like that. Because then you're setting up both a morally bad problem and a investably bad problem.
Say that last sentence. I was trying to keep track of the last one before that.
It's okay. So if you tee it up with like the problem, all right, 1 in 3 Americans, right? I'm exaggerating,
Hmm.
like 1 in 3 Americans has problems with their mental health and their self-confidence and self-worth.
Well, it's actually the generation we're targeting does, but okay.
Okay, yeah, even then. All right, 1 in 3 millennials or Gen Z or
Yeah.
whatever you want to say. Um, think of the people in your life like that. Sorry, I keep getting this call. I'm just gonna leave this for a second. Sorry, too many things going on today. And then the second thing is like, if you can find a statistic that is like, we spend $1 billion a year on mental health related gifts, but they're all bad. They're all insufficient, something like that. Um, that's the kind of thing that nails people down, right? Because you're showing that there's a market where people care, but it's all bad. And so people want to spend money, but they're not spending the money on the right things.
Okay.
And then you go into solution. And I think you need to be stronger here on what your solution is and why it's like 10 times better than the next thing.